Kamal-Ol-Molk, a man who, with every brushstroke, not only painted images, but immortalized Iran's history and culture. He was more than just an artist. He was a bridge between tradition and innovation, a shining beacon in the journey of Iranian art. Today, as we gaze upon his work, we hear the heartbeat of a nation alive in his colors and lines. Kamal-Ol-Molk reminds us that art is the universal language of humanity, a language that transcends borders and unites human souls. Within the heart of Iranian history, one name shines bright: Kamal-Ol-Molk, whose paintings open a window to ancient times and the spirit of the Iranian people. A man who was not just a master painter, but someone who left behind a legacy of history and culture through his art. The story of Kamal-Ol-Molk's life, much like his paintings, is full of color, depth, and dramatic turns. Kamal-Ol-Molk was born in 1847, 1263 AH, in the city of Kashan. His birth name was Mohammad Ghaffari, but due to his exceptional talent, he was granted the title Kamal-Ol-Molk, a title meaning perfection of the kingdom, bestowed upon him by Nasserid al-Din Shah of the Qajar dynasty. But his life was anything but easy. From childhood, he faced many hardships. From a young age, Mohammad was fascinated by colors and painting. While most children played in the alleys and markets, he would gaze with curiosity at paintings, sketching compositions in his mind. His family, not being artistically inclined, didn't take his passion seriously at first. But over time, his extraordinary talent could no longer be ignored. A pivotal moment came when a painting of a religious scene by Muhammad reached a trusted figure at the Qajar court. The piece, though simple, was so full of emotion that it earned the praise of Nasserid al-Din Shah himself, which led to Muhammad being invited to the royal court. Entering the court opened doors to immense opportunity, yet it was also lined with challenges and obstacles. At the court, Kamal-Ol-Molk wasn't just a painter, he became an art teacher, training the next generation of Iranian artists. He firmly believed that true art must rise from the heart of Iran's culture and history, which is why he constantly sought to merge European painting styles with the spirit of Iranian artistry. During this time, Kamal-Ol-Molk traveled extensively across Europe. Europe was like a new window that opened the world of art to him. In France, he trained under master painters and learned advanced techniques, which would later influence his own masterpieces. But these travels were not just about technique. They profoundly shaped his worldview about art and culture. He returned to Iran not to mimic, but to elevate Iranian art to new heights. In the final days of his stay in Europe, one day Kamal-Ol-Molk entered a restaurant in Paris and ordered a meal. It was customary there for well-dressed patrons to pay by simply leaving money on the table after eating. Often, they would leave extra as a tip for the waiter. But Kamal-Ol-Molk had no money on him. So after finishing his meal, he reached into his satchel, pulled out a pencil from his art supplies, and after cleaning the base of his plate, he carefully sketched the image of a banknote right onto it. He left the plate on the table and walked out. The waiter, noticing what seemed to be a banknote on the plate, reached out to grab it, only to discover that it wasn't real. It was a drawing. Furious, he ran after Kamal-Ol-Molk, grabbed him by the collar, and began shouting. The restaurant owner stepped in and asked what was going on. The waiter showed the plate and said, "This man is a thief and a fraud. He drew money instead of paying it." The owner, who was an art enthusiast, looked closely at the plate. He reached into his pocket, paid the meal himself, and said, "Let him go. This plate is worth far more than any meal." Today, that very plate is preserved in the Louvre Museum in Paris, a treasured part of the city's artistic legacy. Kamal-Ol-Molk's life was filled with hardship and perseverance. He faced not only financial difficulties, but also the political turmoil that engulfed Iran during his time. Despite it all, he never abandoned the path of art or his sense of purpose. His artworks ranged from natural landscapes to portraits of kings and courtiers, as well as religious and historical scenes. Each painting told a story that captured the soul and identity of Iran. Kamal-Ol-Molk was celebrated not only for his masterful technique, but also for his precision and attention to detail. He would spend hours, sometimes days, on a single canvas, ensuring every detail was meticulously rendered. After returning from Europe with sharper vision and deeper passion, he came back not just as a painter, but as a pioneer of Iranian artistic transformation. He knew that art is not mere entertainment, it is the language of history, a cultural language that must be preserved and passed down to future generations. But his journey was not easy. Iran was going through significant political and social changes at the time. Nasser al-Din Shah had been assassinated, plunging the Qajar court into instability. Amidst the chaos, Kamal-Ol-Molk remained steadfast, continuing to teach and paint with unwavering determination. He founded an art school in Tehran, which later became known as the Kamal-Ol-Molk School. At this school, he taught European painting techniques fused with Iranian artistic traditions. He wanted Iranian artists to move beyond imitation, to discover their own unique styles. These progressive ideas led to the rise of exceptional students like Mahmoud Farshchian, Hossein Gholi Khan, and the younger Kamal-Ol-Molk, who themselves would become legendary figures in the history of Iranian art. One of Kamal-Ol-Molk's greatest challenges was the resistance from traditionalists. Many conservative figures of the time believed Western art threatened Iranian culture. But through his teaching and his art, Kamal-Ol-Molk proved that art can be a bridge, connecting cultures rather than replacing them, elevating Iranian art without sacrificing its authenticity. His works reflect a unique blend of realism and the elegance of Persian art. His paintings featured portraits of royalty, natural landscapes, and powerful historical moments, each rendered with unmatched precision and deep emotional expression. His most iconic piece, Kamal-Ol-Molk painting himself, depicts him capturing his own reflection in a mirror. This painting is not just a self-portrait, it is a powerful symbol of his devotion and love for art. Throughout his life, Kamal-Ol-Molk created over several thousand works, many of which are still preserved in museums and private collections across Iran. But more than an artist, he was a teacher, a mentor whose legacy continues to live on. One of the most remarkable aspects of Kamal-Ol-Molk's life was his character. He was incredibly hardworking, humble, and deeply in love with his art. And even in the darkest times, he never lost hope. Friends and students speak fondly of his humility and kindness. They say he always wanted to bring art closer to the people, to make it understandable, accessible, and meaningful for everyone. He spent his final years in Nishapur, where he continued painting and teaching until the very end. Kamal-Ol-Molk passed away in 1940, 1319 in the Iranian calendar. Yet his works and his vision remain alive and enduring. Kamal-Ol-Molk's legacy is not merely a collection of beautiful paintings. It is a philosophy, a distinct artistic style that gave Iranian art a renewed identity. Today, whenever we speak of Iranian painting, his name stands at the very top. A man who, through brush and color, revealed Iran's history, culture, and soul to the world.